Welcome to the studio, Gila Martow and Chris Ainsworth.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you,
Nice to
Susan.
have you.
It's very exciting to be here. And I just want to explain to all the viewers that it's an election this year at the end of October. So we were council members at the City of Vaughan. I was Ward 5 and Chris was Ward 4, and I'll let him explain his ward. But my ward is Thornhill and a bit of Concord, and between Steeles and Highway 7. And now we've registered to be candidates in the next election. So we're running for re-election. So we have to be a little bit cautious of how we call ourselves. We're here to promote JCC Maccabi and all good things in the Jewish community, positive messaging.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're just trying to make it a level playing field for any other candidates that are going to be up against us. And my ward is Ward 4, so I'm Bathurst to 400. I go as far north as Teston Road and as far south as Highway 7. And the majority of my constituents are Jewish as well. So very excited.
Well, we're going to dive right in. Gila, you served as a member of provincial parliament here in Ontario and now at the municipal level. What first drew you into public service?
So I have to say that first I was involved just in my community. I became president of the local ratepayers, which means taxpayers or homeowners association, called the Beverly Glen Ratepayers Association. One of my sons took it over for me when I got elected provincially, and now another son has taken it over for me and runs the Facebook group and messaging for the Ratepayers Association. And they have a committee, and they try to stay on top of what's happening in their little neck of the woods. But I ran provincially. There were a few things that sort of I was concerned with. One was the funding of Jewish schools, that I had a project, Parents for Equality and Education Funding, and I was writing letters and doing a lot of media, and I got involved in an election campaign to get Peter Sherman elected in Thornhill to support his party, the Progressive Conservatives, proposal to, if they win election, to get some funding somehow to the non-Catholic school system. So I supported that. I went to work and I was asked to be his riding association president. Well, you know, it happens little by little. People wonder, how do you become a candidate? Well, there were years of volunteering before that usually, unless you have some kind of fantastic name recognition because you're a bit of a celebrity somehow. But I had 3 elections provincially for Thornhill that were successful. But I decided it was 8.5 years. Going downtown was not easy. And even though it's not, every single day of the year, it's enough that it was getting difficult. And I got a little bit more focused on the municipal side and decided to run municipally. And I'm very happy I did. And I'm very happy to be working with Stephen Del Duca. He was an MPP for the Liberals down at Queen's Park, while I was a PC MPP. And we worked on a project, anti-BDS, anti-boycott Israel, 10 years ago at Queen's Park, a Liberal and a Conservative working on a project together. So I appreciated him then, and I appreciate working with him now.
Gila, how did your work at the provincial level shape the work that you do at the city level today?
I think that provincially, I learned how bills are written, how they are passed, and the adequacy work that goes behind them, that it isn't just politicians getting up one day and deciding, let's change some regulation or legislation. There are many committees and many passionate people involved in our communities who care about something, and they come down to Queen's Park, they come to committees, they do letter writing campaigns, and they really shape the direction of the province. And at the municipal level, I was glad I was able to sort of bring that understanding about working with the community, working with the activists, working with the organizations, and bring that to the municipal level.
And working so closely with the city right now, do you want to touch on some of the more pressing issues?
So I think that fiscally, the City of Vaughan has been very responsible. As a taxpayer and a resident in the City of Vaughan, I was happy to see that our budget had a 0% tax increase. As far as I know, that was the only municipality in Ontario to have a 0% tax increase. And we have been winning awards all over in terms of our procurement processes and things like that. And again, as a taxpayer and a ratepayer, I'm very pleased to be a resident of the City of Vaughan. And I'm looking forward after this coming election. Should I be reelected? We have to apply for our jobs every 4 years. I'm looking forward to working with the city because I live in the city, I care about the city, but I also care about the value that I'm getting from my tax dollars.
Vaughan has been such a special, supportive place to the Jewish community. How is that?
So again, I think it goes back to the days of working at Queen's Park together, that immediately on October 7th, our mayor, Stephen Del Duca, understood the campaign and what was happening against Israel. And as soon as we saw the protests come up, it was very clear that we had to work quickly in the right direction. We had two very bad protests. I think, Chris, you were at some of the protests that was as well that were just very, very unfortunate. And I think the city got to work and ensured that the council members were able to pass changes of a bubble zone, which was the first in Canada. And, as the councillor at the time, and with my colleague Chris and everybody else on council, it was unanimous that we had to do something to protect vulnerable institutions, not just synagogues and places of worship, but hospitals, daycares, schools, and vulnerable people such as RENA residences and things like that. And it's been the last time they attempted to have a protest was December 9th, 2024. So it works. And but we, as a city, I think the residents of the city of Vaughan work well together. I wonder if there's maybe something different in the drinking water in Vaughan compared to some of the surrounding communities.
It's a very special place.
It's a city that's 20% Jewish heritage. So it's not a majority city of Jewish heritage, but it's a city where you see South Asians, Filipinos, people from Iran, Persians, of course, Italians is very, very strong in the city of Vaughan. But everybody is so respectful and happy to work together, live together, and play together.
And just to add to Gila's comment, we're both very supportive of the Jewish community. And we attended not one, but both of those protests that happened at the two different synagogues. And we wanted the Jewish community to see that we're there to support them. And we took it even a step further. Back last year when the Bebas family had been announced, the mother and the children had all been murdered.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a memorial. So I got together with Gila and we spoke to the mayor and we had a memorial at City Hall. And something that we thought was only going to be a few people turned into about a good 1,000 people showed up. And we had a local rabbi come and he did some prayers. And it turned out to be a great event, and it was very supported by the Jewish community. So again, we're just showing, I feel, our true colors of who we are and how we support the Jewish community. On top of that, in my ward, Ward 4, last summer we had somebody that came and sprayed a swastika on the property near Anne Frank School. And then there was a gentleman that was kicked out of the JCC. Won't go into full details, but he came back and did a video in front of Anne Frank. And I followed that video up by getting not just provincial, but federal representation. So we had Laura Smith and Melissa Lanceman come, and we did our own video. And again, we're standing up for the Jewish community, letting everybody know that we will not be bullied or pushed around. And Gila's been a big advocate of that as well.
Exactly. We're really quite a team in Vaughan, and I feel very fortunate to live and work in the city of Vaughan.
We're going to talk about the games now. For the first time in 40 years, the Maccabi Games, the JCC Maccabi Games and Access are coming to Canada.
Exciting. And yeah, we're all very excited. The main hub, I'll let Chris talk about the main hub and where it is because it's going to be in his ward. But I was involved in the bid to get the games. I was approached by somebody from the Jewish Community Center, and they said, they're asking if perhaps we could bring the games back to Canada and have it in Toronto. What do you think? I said, well, I think it would be very challenging and difficult to have it in Toronto. The sporting facilities would be hard to find, parking and traffic and all of the challenges of Toronto and expensive hotels. I said, let's see if we can get some support to have them in Vaughan. The team at Vaughan, the staff and the council members were very supportive. and the bid took place in New York City. I wasn't there, but I was told that at the end of their bid, they said, well, we have to tell you one more thing about this city of Vaughan that you've never heard of. We promised the councillor Gila that we would tell you about the 407 toll road. Yes, it's a toll road, and yes, we all know it's expensive, but it goes from one end of the city of Vaughan to the other, and we can get the coaches and the kids and everybody through very quickly, should we need to, in traffic. And they said, you got the bid, was my understanding.
Amazing.
So it was very amazing, and we are going to be working with the 407. We've had meetings with them, and I think it's going to be a very, very positive experience, the games.
And what does it mean for the Jewish community?
It
to
means
hosting this event.
Exactly. I think it means that the city of Vaughan understands that they're not just there to support the Jewish community in difficult times, but this is a real celebration. And it's not just a celebration for the Jewish kids and the Jewish community. This is a celebration of sports in Vaughan. And I think that my colleagues have heard me say more than a few times, Vaughan is sports, sports is Vaughan. Let's do what we do well. We got a bid for a baseball tournament starting in 2027 for 5 years from the Canadian Baseball Association to do their final tournaments. So I think that we're putting Vaughan on the map for sports. I think JCC Maccabi is helping with that. And the games we're expecting 2,000 to 3,000 athletes from 75 cities in North America between the ages of 13 to 21, and then the access games, I think it's 14 to 21, and then the access games are 13 to 24. Access games are for cognitive challenged individuals, and they have their own separate games, but they have meals and some of the events together and parties together. They'll be all going to Wonderland one evening. There'll be the opening ceremony in Hamilton at Copps Coliseum. And there are seating for 18,000 people at the Hamilton Stadium.
This is incredible.
So I'm hoping to see a lot of spirit, a lot of ruach. Come on down to the opening ceremonies, cheer on the kids, and please, please look into volunteering, be a host family, help out with the games, with the access games, volunteer for security. We're going to need a lot of hands on deck, and we want to show the world that not just Vaughan, but the Jewish community works well together for positive energy and positive development of our kids.
Chris, I understand that this is happening in your hub. What does it take to bring an event like this, for this magnitude, to Vaughan?
So I'm very excited to have it in my ward. It starts on August the 2nd and it goes to the 7th. We are going to have a combination of baseball, soccer, swimming. There's going to even be dancing, believe it or not. So it's going to be very exciting. And as Gila was saying, we need lots of volunteers. And we're looking for people to allow the athletes to participate and get lots of, let's say, juice, water, snacks. We want people to come in and help out in that perspective. But I think it's going to be very unique because there's been so much bad stuff that's been going on in the Jewish community. And this is something good.
Absolutely.
And this is what I think a lot of people need right now. And this is what we're looking forward to.
Chris, if somebody who's listening, who wants to host one of these athletes, first of all, how long would they be staying with them and where can they register? It's a lovely idea.
So from August the 2nd to the 7th, it'll be for 5 days. And they can go on to the Maccabi Games website, and all the information is listed there on where they can volunteer, donate, and anything else that they're looking for information.
All right, Chris and Gila, the games are very exciting and such a positive, good feeling for our city, our country. However, I feel like it would be remiss not to talk about the anti-Semitism, the heaviness that is very much part of our thread of life right now. What do you have to say to that?
I think that we have a lot of Jewish organizations, and if there's one thing I hear from politicians, especially the non-Jewish ones, it's why are there so many organizations? And can you guys work together a little bit better? In fact, Warren Kinsella, who just put out his new book, The Hidden Hand, which I believe is still #1 on Amazon the last couple of weeks. and is coming to Peterborough to do an event with me this coming weekend. One of the things that Warren has been saying is that we have a lot of Jewish organizations and they need to work just like a political campaign. And he has run political campaigns, and he sees that this movement of hatred against the Jewish community in Israel, he sees it as a campaign and worked on a documentary that is called The Campaign. And he thinks we need to figure out a way to get all of our organizations into a room and work as a team, as a campaign, to combat the campaign against us. The time is now.
Thank you so much, both Chris and Gila, for chatting with me, and wishing you best of luck with the games.
Okay, just to echo what Gila had just said, I want the Jewish community to know that between both of us and our mayor, along with York Regional Police and Shorim, we are going to be protecting you. We are going to be making sure that nothing negative or bad happens. And if it does, we're going to be right on it. So please feel and know that you will be safe.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris and Gila, for your time, and wishing you lots of luck with the games.
You're watching J Weekly Canada.